This video will serve to investigate what happens when you mix different light bulb types together in the same series circuit. So here we have top center, the circuit we're going to start with. Let's start by coloring it the way we know we can. I've highlighted it by circling in red the positive terminal, and I circled in red to remind me that that's the low pressure side that gets red in our system, because I don't have the physical battery holder in front of me that has the nice little dots. So we'll start with blue for the negative terminal side, and all the wires that touch the negative terminal immediately become blue. The red side then for the positive terminal, and all the wires touching it. It doesn't matter how many wires we have there, but because they have roughly zero resistance, they all turn that same color. So let's go on down and take a look at that circuit. So here's my disconnected version of this circuit. Notice that I've circled in red to let you know that I don't have this connected. So we would expect charge to flow through this wire, and then through this wire, and then back to the battery through this wire, because this is a series circuit. And so you notice that I've done one continuous conducting path with no branches or pathways or choices for the electrons to take, which allows us to go up and put the arrow tails on this drawing. And I'm going to choose to put 2 arrow tails in each wire. And because we don't have anything to compare to, we can sort of pick approximately any number here, as long as it's the same in each wire. That last one's a little wonky, sorry about it. So I would now like you to make a prediction of what's going to happen when I complete this circuit. I'm going to scroll down here, and I'll count backwards from 3, and then I'll erase all of my little obfuscation bars here. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the long light bulb is lit brightly, and the round light bulb appears to be off. We can zoom into that round light bulb and see that in fact it does appear to be off. We will circle back to that, I promise you. So back up here, let's go ahead and put our starbursts on. We saw this one was nice and bright, and we're not sure what to do with those starbursts there. We'll come back to it. You might have noticed that we have this other circuit here on the right, and this circuit, I'm going to start color coding real quick. We've seen this circuit by now, and we know that these 2 light bulbs should be the same brightness. So we'll go ahead and put that on there. And because they're the same brightness, we know that it needs to be the same pressure drop across each of these circuit elements, across each light bulb. And the only way to get that same pressure drop is to do a yellow middle bar there. So what we have to do here is recognize that this is a much larger pressure drop than this. And so the only way to get a much larger pressure drop from blue is to do an orange, and then orange to red is a smaller pressure drop. And we have one more thing to come back to here, which is that this light bulb, what's happening here? Is there charge flow? Is there not? Well, we know there has to be charge flow through there because we see that there's this 2 arrow tails here, and there's this 2 arrow tails here, and we see that we have a continuous conducting path because our light is on, which tells us that there must be some charge flowing through there, even if it's not enough to light up that light bulb. So what I like to do is I like to put in some sort of starburst to indicate to my observer, to my reader, that I know that something's happening there, even if I can't necessarily see it. So I use that little dotted line the same way that our smallest arrow tail can be a dotted line arrow tail, to say it's there, but maybe I can't see it, or maybe I can't perceive it, or something to that effect. So let's look at a slightly different version of this circuit. So in this one we have the round bulb on the round bulb on the left, and in the slightly different version we have the round bulb on the right. So again, I have these 2 sets of pictures. I have my prediction picture where it's disconnected, and let's start color coding. So we'll start color coding the blue for the high pressure side of the battery, and the red for the low pressure side of the battery, as the electrons have high pressure on the right side and low pressure on the left side. And then again, because this is a series circuit, I know that I can put the arrow tails in every wire, and they're the same because there are no pathways for this to do. So let's go ahead and look at that circuit, and if you want to make a prediction, you should do right now. Pause the video. I'll reveal in 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, fairly similarly, the round bulb is lit well, and the long bulb is lit well, and the round bulb appears to be off. We could zoom in on that, And we could see that in fact the filament doesn't appear to be lit at all. So now we are going to color code this, and before where we went from blue to orange, we're now going to go from blue to green because the round bulb has the lower pressure difference across it. So this is our pretty low pressure difference, and the long bulb has the really big pressure difference across it. This is not a technical thing that I'm drawing with these arrows like this. Please don't copy that. And again, we should put the starbursts on. We know that this has a lot of starbursts. It's very bright. And my little thing of trying to indicate, yes, I know something's happening here, even if I couldn't necessarily see it. I didn't leave this blank because I know that there must be charge flowing through there. And that is it for this video.